It takes one phone call, one text message, stubbing your toe, the dog peeing on the floor. It takes one act to remove all stimulus. Motivation is emotions. It's just energy in motion. If you have a reason, then when my body hurts or I'm tired or I just don't want to train, I think, well, why the hell am I doing this in the first place? I'm doing it because I need to be the strongest version of myself.
I'm Tiffany Souter, entrepreneur, wife, mom to 4 girls, and a woman figuring it out just like you. If you're tired of living a life of have to and finally ready to build a life of want to, then you're in the right place. Come on, let's go build your life of and. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Life of And podcast. I am your host, Tiffany Souter. If you're new to the Life of And podcast, I just want to say welcome. We have had lots of new people join us over the last few weeks, and I'm just so honored that you're here, that you give me your time as we really chase this whole idea of a life of And. So this is always a place where we dive into what it really takes to build a life where you don't have to choose between ambitions and relationships, your business and your body, and your dreams and your sanity. We live in this and. And today I have a guest who's going to, I think, help us turn up the volume on one of the most foundational pieces of that puzzle, this idea of resilience.
Yes.
My guest, Chris Ewing. Chris, welcome.
Yep. I'm excited to be here.
He's a nationally ranked strongman competitor. I was sort of imagining when you walked in the door, you might just compulsively lift me off the ground or something.
Yeah, right. Everybody thinks I just lift stuff for fun.
Flip tables and I don't know. So he competed for 15 years and has worked for over 20 years with elite athletes, corporate teams, high performers to build habits, mindsets, and strength. And I think we can say this idea of habits, mindsets, and strength applies to more than just our physical body and life.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're going to explore that. He is the co-founder of Odyssey Resilience with your wife. Is that correct?
Yes.
So very cool. And he helps people like you and me take what's working in the elite performance world and apply it to our real lives. Because we working moms are elite performers of a different kind.
Yes, definitely.
So in our work, our motherhood, and our business. So Chris, I'm excited to welcome you on. I think we're going to talk a little theory. And then I told you, I think I'm going to put myself in the student seat and we'll see what happens.
Heck yeah, this will be fun.
So thanks for joining me. I want to start with what kind of crazy must you be to decide to be a strongman competitor? That's not why we're here, but I'm just curious. That's a very specific outcome in life.
It is. And if you take the whole fitness industry, it's about half of 1%.
Yeah, because it's insane.
It's pretty awesome. So
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He says.
I grew up, so my dad was a bomber pilot. So I moved 13 times before I was in the 8th grade.
Wow.
I grew up with the exacerbated version of masculinity, right? Guys walking around in flight suits, flying jets and bombers and maxed out uniforms with Navy SEALs and just larger than life characters. I think I was 7 years old when I watched Rocky IV for the first time. And then just right after that, I watched Terminator 2. And I'm like...
You were literally
Oh, totally indoctrinated. Yeah. This is all I want out of life is to be the largest human possible.
That's amazing.
Right? But the more I trained and the more I got into that, the more I realized I wasn't chasing the picture of it. I was chasing the version of myself, right? What is the strongest version of Christopher Ewing, mentally, morally, emotionally, and physically. And the more I trained, the more I learned about myself. And the more I learned about myself, the harder I was able to train. And strongman just showed up. I actually got into weightlifting to be a bodybuilder. That's pretty much, if you ask anybody in any kind of sport, that's why they started lifting, to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Mm-hmm. And my favorite was Mike Metzger. I thought he was awesome. So he had the coolest mustache. And then I met a guy that did strongman and powerlifting. And powerlifting, just so we understand, is 3 lifts: squat, bench, and deadlift. And then strongman is just whatever the hell they decide to put out there. And it's never the same. It's never what the rules are. You just show up and it's just a total free-for-all, which is awesome.
It could be moving this truck from here to here. It's like objects. And I've watched a couple of just crazy things on YouTube before.
It's super fun. Yeah. So it used to be called Odd Implement Lifting, and that's exactly what it is.
It's been rebranded.
Oh, yeah. So I got into powerlifting in 2014 was my first powerlifting meet, and I did okay. I got like 7th or 8th place. My second one, I got first place in the non-existent division of 253.1 pounds. It doesn't exist anymore, but I won that. And then I got into strongman just to see if I could, enjoy the sport. I think it was 12 competitors. I got 11th because the 12th guy didn't show up. So, I got
annihilated.
Oh, dude, it was embarrassing. Most of my lifts were zeros, which means I didn't even get one rep.
Yeah.
And I left and I thought, this is either going to defeat me or fuel me. And I loved the sport. I thought, what a cool way to just be strong all over, right? Nothing that shows up will ever beat me because I can lift fucking anything, And I thought the people were cool, Well,
I think that's actually like nothing that I see can beat me because I can do anything. Like you're talking about it in the physical sense of becoming a competitor with your body physically. But I think that we want to have that mindset in every area of our life. And you said, I want to be strong mentally, morally, physically. And what was the last one? Emotionally. So let's use that as a jumping off point to this idea of, I can imagine you practicing lifting and mobility and like all of these things to get your body to a place where you're pushing it. But I'm assuming at some point you realize my physical ability is not going to be the thing that keeps me from this. It's going to be my ability to conquer myself first.
Oh yeah. That's like 90% of the battle because everything hurts all the time.
So what did that practically look like for you? Or how can you teach us how to get that? Because we like to say there's no quit in us, but there is quit in us.
I think quit happens because we don't have an established vision. We have goals. Goals are great, but goals are just mile markers up the mountain. Like if I wanted to be a great strongman, well, I've already done that, right? I'm not the best by any stretch of the imagination, but I can compete nationally. I can hold my own. I know what I'm doing. I can play the game accordingly. So if my goal was to be a great strongman, I'd be done. I'd turn in the keys. But if the vision for myself is so fucking clear that I get emotional, like it moves me like emotionally to talk about where I'm headed as a person, then it's easy to continue the fight because the fight has a meaning behind it. All the stress, all the frustration, all the pain goes towards something. It's building something. Generally speaking, we quit because what do you do after it? I see it all the time with families. Couple gets married. We're going to be great when we have a kid. Okay, well, you have a baby and then what? You have 18 years till that little girl or little dude leaves the house and then you're still married. You have another 40 years of marriage. Like we have to have a vision behind that in order to make all of the pain and all of the struggle and all of the good times mean something.
How do you go about either in your work or in your own experience, how do you go about finding that vision, establishing that vision? Because I think in my audience, a lot of times it can be like, that's super sweet and cool, Chris, but like I am swallowed up by the tasks of life. You know, I get out of bed in the morning and I've got to get kids on the bus. As soon as they leave, I got to get in my car. I got to do my job. I got to do my day. I got to come home and feed everybody and go to, practices and sort of get up and start it all over again. And so for my listener and like, when you say this idea of like have a compelling vision of the future, we teach that in our businesses all the time. How do we go about, testing in our lives or trying things on or exploring or understanding like what that means? Because I love the idea of it, but I think I would struggle to probably tell you my own vision. I could give you goals as you sort of reframe this. I think I could give you goals pretty quickly, but I don't know if I could concisely tell you my vision. I could try hard.
A lot of times what happens when we talk about vision is we assume that when we reach our vision, we'll have space and time available after. Vision is when you're laying on your deathbed and you have no time in front of you and all you're doing is looking backwards. What do you want to have achieved? Where do you want to have gone? Who do you want around you? What do you want to remember? What do you want to have created? Then and only then can you reverse engineer and create goals that matter. So what I would say to the mom that says, I'm swallowed up by daily tasks, I got softball, travel this, travel that, a family, dogs, whatever, that feels overwhelming. But why the hell are you doing it in the first place? Right? Like I have 3 daughters. They're absolutely fascinating humans, but they're 3 girls. And the emotional volatility is bonkers.
What are their ages?
18, 14, and 12.
Okay, yeah.
It is nuts, right? So
it's wild contrasted with your own childhood and interests. Like,
oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
it's intense.
But it's fantastic, right? But what are we teaching them as adults? What's the whole purpose of having kids? Is to raise, I view it as to raise good humans, to continue the world spinning in a good way, you know, productive Americans, you know, that bring something to society. If I lay on my deathbed and look back, or when I'm there, and I can say I raised 3 little girls to be good, productive humans, hell yeah, that's awesome. So then it gives me purpose behind saying, hey, listen, come home on time, you know, or we don't talk to people like that. We don't wear clothes like that. Why? You don't see it yet, but I do. You know, I'm farther down the road. Plus I'm tasked with being your guardian and your guide.
I love that one of your first 3 was we don't wear clothes like that. That is a sure sign you have girls.
Oh, yeah.
I got in a situation with one of my daughters. She was going to the gym and I was like, are you wearing that? She's like, yeah, it's hot. I was like, well, you're putting clothes on.
Oh, yeah. I had a bathing suit situation. I'm like, no fucking way, man.
It is a sure sign you are parenting teenage girls.
Yeah.
So sorry to detour there, but it's like you got a lot of street cred there.
Yeah, it's intense.
That's the way it goes. So do you have, when you work with people, is this part of what you do, is a clear articulation of their vision?
Yes. So we have actually a vision worksheet that we
Okay.
put people through. Depending on how much self-reflection you've done in the past and how much of an established vision you either know or don't know that you have, as how long it takes to fill it out. It's about 4 pages, but sometimes it takes like 2 months to do.
So give me like 2 or 3 questions that might be on it or that are on it.
So we have a picture of a mountain on the front,
Okay.
and I'll draw it here as I'm talking.
Yeah.
Picture of a mountain on the front. There's clouds that hide the top of the mountain. We don't know exactly what the top of the mountain looks like. If I said, hey, Tiffany, what does the top of Mount Everest look like? You would probably reference in your brain or use your phone to look up pictures and ideas and a framework to understand what it feels like or looks like. You have no idea what it feels like. You have no idea what the air feels like, the snow feels like, what it looks like to be up there. But you got a pretty good idea of what it looks like. So we build our vision based on that concept. It's above the clouds. I'm not there yet, but I would like it to look like this. And then we set mile markers, which are just flags up the mountain. And then we talk about base camp, BC. What happens with most people is they set arbitrary goals. So all they do is just spin around in base camp. Everything is just restarting. I got to have another kid. I got to have a dog. I got to buy a new house. Got to get a new car. Got to start a new job. Got to start working out. Well, if you don't know why you're doing those fucking things, you're just literally putting a flag 3 feet in front of you, taking 3 steps and restarting. If you don't set a vision, top of your mountain, I cannot help you set goals that are 1, measurable, and 2, repeatable. And if it's not measurable and repeatable, it's not training, it's guessing. And guesswork just spins you around a base camp. So one of the questions is, when you're on your deathbed, where would you have liked to have lived? So I use that just from frame of reference of me from my time on the planet traveling so much, just as a child and whatnot. I got to spend 3 months in Lithuania, which was really cool, my senior year in high school, or senior summer. I was actually a Southern Baptist missionary, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That's a long story for another
Different
day.
podcast episode.
So, yeah. But I got to see a lot. So looking back at your life on your deathbed, what do you want to have seen? Where do you want to go? It'll help you establish why you grind it out at work. It'll help you establish whether or not you have kids, whether or not you have a dog, you know, what kind of house you buy, what kind of car you buy. All those things will start aligning themselves when we work ourselves backwards. We cannot work ourselves forwards up the mountain. It's impossible. Because what ends up happening is when we realign, we move either down or just laterally. And we just stay in the same spot. I don't know what it looks like when I head up the mountain. I don't know what it's going to look like in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years. But I can give myself a framework of where I want to end. So when I'm presented with a new situation or new circumstances, I can say, well, where am I going anyways? Well, what do I want out of this? So then I have a framework of decision-making processes.
So when you go through this visioning exercise, you're married. So is it something that you go through as an individual with your spouse? Like, how does that work? Because I think my husband and I actually right now are at a place where we probably have a little more clarity on our individual mountains than our shared one. And that's creating some complication for us and just like reconciling some of like when and how and all this kind of stuff. So how do you coach people through that? Like, because my mountain is connected to his, but they're not the same mountain necessarily. Or do you see them as the same?
Oh, they're not the same at all.
Okay. So I'm kind of glad you said that, or we might have to.
Yeah, I get it.
Because we're different people. And
You are.
I have to plan my mountain in the context of his, but they are not the same mountain. So how do you do that?
Yeah.
You and your wife are in the same business, which is both helpful and probably hard. But anyways, how do you coach people? Tell me your opinion on this.
So Kylie and I are very different. So we're very similar, but very different. So we use
We're very similar, but very different. Feels like a cop-out. What does that mean? Kylie's not here. We need to know who she is.
Yeah, we like the same movies. We finish each other's sentences, as cliche as that is. Like, I'll make a joke and she'll finish it. We both like to talk mountains of shit, which is like my favorite. We're hard on each other, but we're not. You know, we hold each other accountable. We establish goals together. She operates completely different than me when it comes to like, we use a assessment tool called Aptive Index, and one of the meters on there or standalone attributes is called emotional resonance.
Okay.
My emotional resonance score, 1 out of 10, is a 9.
Okay.
Kylie's is a 1. So
what is emotional resonance? I don't know. I don't know what that
how
is.
long emotions hang out in your system before you make decisions.
Okay.
So when we talk about the strongman and the chief people officer for McGuire Sponsel, people look at that and say, well, he's not going to have any emotions and she's going to have a ton. It's the exact opposite. So when we watch the movie Interstellar, have you seen that?
No, but I'm terrible at consuming pop culture, but that's fine. It's a different story.
I ugly cry.
Okay.
Like, I weep in that movie. That movie is so well done. And she laughs at me. She sees it. She understands it. She goes, I get that there are emotions, but that's a movie and we live in real life. Me? Oh, I'm all in, man.
You're
I'm
here for it.
I'm standing next to Matthew McConaughey, you know, like we're hugging each other and crying it out. Understanding how the person operates independently gives you an understanding of their filter. You speak to me based on your filter of how you hear things. So when you say things like, we'll take insults, for example, the insult that you tend to use to hurt somebody's feelings the most is the one that will hurt you the most, not them. So if somebody said, hey, Chris, you're a bad person, I'd be hurt, right? A lot of people would be like, that is the dumbest insult I've ever heard. But that would mean a lot to me, right? So if we understand each other's filters, we can understand how we hear things, and then we can communicate cleaner. So back to, long road around here, the vision worksheet. If I give the vision worksheet to a husband and wife or a group of C-suite, like a team, and they fill it all out together, there's going to be a more socially adapted person that wants to make people happy in group consensus than standalone. So Kylie is very high in what's called influence. I'm about baseline. I'm not going to lead the flag up the mountain. She will 100% take charge in every situation, which is fine, right? I'm okay with that. Our personalities match. If I give you and your husband the same sheet, one of the two of y'all will say, oh, that's fine. Or, okay, we'll just do that. And you'll snub your own goals or your own vision.
Meaning I will turn my answers over to whatever his are.
Generally speaking, this sounds weird. The man does. Man folds. He goes, well, that sounds good. You know, we're really shitty at organizing emotions and then processing them into words and actions.
Yeah, it's the process them into words part that.
Oh, we're really bad.
Yeah, we can.
We're just not trained for it, right? And we operate differently. So if I give it to a couple, which we've done quite a bit, it has to be separate. And then they fill it out to completion on their own, and we talk to them individually, and then we bring them together. The best analogy for this, have you ever shot a handgun?
Yeah.
If you're a millimeter off when you're shooting, you're 4 feet off at the target or more. Generally speaking, most couples are about a millimeter off. Do I want to move or do I want to stay in Carmel? One wants to move, one wants to stay in Carmel. It's not a big deal right now because you live in fucking Carmel. Well, what happens 10 years from now when the kids are gone, or 20 years from now, or when you retire? That's huge. It's miles apart, right? So getting them to organize their thoughts and feelings and emotions and vision and goals independently, we can then bring them together and say, okay, where can we have some give and take? Where can we understand each other?
So this whole idea of resilience starts with having a clear understanding. And like you said, like now I'm making a tie to, and you're adorable, like an emotional connection to the vision is important for your emotional resonance.
Yeah.
Your wife may not say it in the same way, where she's like, I need to have a good understanding of that.
Hers is all logic driven.
Yeah. And you're like, I need to cry. I need to be willing to fight and weep and bleed for this.
Yes. I want to battle for this. I want to go to war for my vision, right? She just wants to have logic. If it makes sense, if A plus B equals C, then she's all in.
Yeah. So what other ways can we train resilience in our life? And then maybe we flip the script on my own observation of failure of resilience in my life and see if you can walk me through that. But maybe let's start with some theory, or we can go the other way. You tell me how you want to do it.
Let's just start with a definition of resilience. Okay. I love words, but I think they're bastardized really easy because people just use them in different ways. Resilience is advancing despite adversity, meaning we will always be presented with adversity. The concept that at one point in time we'll be doing everything right and there will never be anything wrong in our way, no adversity at all, is a total fallacy. That's one of the reasons why relationships fail, businesses fail, communication fails, is we assume that if we do everything right, everything will be perfect. Well, perfect doesn't exist. It's subjective. And that's just not how it works. So training resilience is more of an understanding of why I'm doing this and being okay with the fact that you're going to stub your toe on some stuff. You will fall over and hit your nose. What do you do with that? And the coolest part is we have to understand, just like training, if I don't fail, I don't grow. The only variable inside of strength training that makes any sense and convinces the body to grow is failure. So I don't get bigger biceps or a bigger log press or whatever by just wanting it or kind of training it. I have to push myself to the point that I actually fail and then get shorter reps out, or what we call pump reps. So instead of a full range of motion, it's partial. So what that does is tells the body, hey, listen, he's going to continue to lift. You better grow or you're going to get hurt. So then the body goes, okay, takes the fuel that you give it and forces that muscle group to grow. It's the stimulus of failure that produces success.
The stimulus of failure that produces success.
Yeah. And what do? We shy away from failure.
Totally. The stimulus of failure, say it again, produces success. So that's the definition of resilience and how we get there. I feel like also point to this idea of just like habit forming as a way to develop resilience. And I don't know, I'm projecting this, but like taking off the weight of micro decision making in every movement so that you have just these behaviors where you've programmed yourself to be aligned with all the things that get you to your vision.
Yes.
Filling in the gaps. But is that right?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
So let's talk about these places where if somebody says, look, having strong habits is not an easy thing for me. Discipline, I'm talking personally, is I have to fight like crazy to get discipline in my life. It is not natural to my making, but I see the fruit of it when I get there. So if someone's listening saying, okay, I get this idea of sustainable, healthy habits, where should I start? Do you have like, these are the 3 to 5 places that you really want to master resilience in your physical health to help you in your other places of your life? Where do we start?
Morning routine, hands down. You got to start your day with some kind of peace and structure. So the reason why the military, other than just because they like to build cohesive units, the reason why they make you make your bed in the morning is because you're going to be presented with a bunch of unknown variables all day long, and you're basically going to get the shit beat out of you. But no matter what life throws at you, you're going to come back to structure, and you're going to wake up to structure. And you're going to create this habit of understanding that I am in control of at least one of these variables. Awesome. It's empowering. If I'm in control of one of them, I can make it 2. Cool. Then I can make it 3, and I can make it 10, and I can make it 20. And then you end up building the structure in your brain and soul and body that says, I'm actually in control of more than I'm out of control of. It's about 80-20. We're really in control about 80% of our life. 20% of the variables that On the high end, it's 20% that throw us for a loop. It's like the dog peeing on your shoe before you leave. You should have just let the dog out earlier. Like, it's under your control. You just chose not to do it, right? You didn't build a habit to create those actions. But yeah, morning routine, myself, I wake up in the morning, 5:30 or 6, and I make French press coffee the same way every time. It takes 10 minutes. My wife's cup goes on the right. My cup goes on the left. She gets the same creamer. I get whole milk. Make it the same way every day because I wake up to structure and it allows me to sit calmly for 1 hour. I either read or we talk or I stare out the window if she needs to sleep in or whatever. And the dogs are taken care of and we start with quiet. There's no phones for the first hour and there's no phones for the hour before we go to bed. The structure is super, super important. But starting with the morning establishes the baseline for your brain. If you start with chaos, you will end with chaos. If you start with calm, you will end with calm. You just at least have a better shot,
So you sit there for an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, every morning. It's awesome.
So have you taught pieces of this to your girls?
They're still pretty young, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, and it doesn't, if it no is a totally fine answer too. My kids are usually sleeping till the last second possible and peeling out of the driveway and yelling at each other for something. I also have all girls, so.
So yeah,
know
Yahoo.
This world. Just curious.
I'm in a little bit different situation. So I was married for 10 years, almost 10 years. My kids live in Kentucky. So
okay. So they're not in your, they're not in your daily space. So, well.
In the summers when they come up, it's established routines at dad's house.
Okay.
So you wake up in the morning, you make your bed. Mm-hmm. You do that first. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. My youngest is real good. She'll wake up and make the coffee with me and she'll just sit next to me on the couch. And they love that because it's dad time, right? It's pre-established time that will always exist. And therefore they wake up and it's calm. Right. I don't care if they go back to bed. It's fine. It's generally the summer.
Yeah. Right.
But even in the mornings, they call me before they go to school, ask them what breakfast they're having. How did you sleep? When are you going to bed? Mm-hmm. What are we consuming during the day? You just establish those patterns.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's cool. I have 4 kids that I'm, to varying degrees sort of helping get out of the house. And my oldest is a swimmer, so she can drive herself, but she has practice. She has to leave the house at 5:40, 4 days a week. And so my point is, it's like kind of from the time my feet hit the floor, there's some type of stimulation. I usually get up at 5:30. I make her, it's a bagel. It's not like breakfast, but a toaster bagel.
Yeah.
I pour her some orange juice. I have it waiting for her. It's like not waking up to a dark house is, a thoughtful thing for a 16-year-old. It's one of the things that she hears about a lot. But I think just having that like time with no stimulus, I think that could be a very valuable thing to add into my life.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it in like 10-minute chunks too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably not an hour in my life right now, but some season it will look like that.
Exactly. That's it right there. It's some season. Everything's here for a season or a reason.
Yeah.
Right. So like same thing with friendships. Sometimes you'll have somebody in your life that's just absolutely super valuable and then they become not so super valuable and then actually an anchor. And that was a reason or a season, And if you understand your vision, those things make sense. If you understand your vision, waking up 10 minutes earlier to have 10 minutes of peace in the morning starts to make sense. If you're doing it just for an arbitrary reason of waking up early and having coffee, you might do that once or twice, but motivation is fleeting. Motivation is actually bullshit, to be totally honest.
Tell us more about that, and then we'll go into my example.
Yeah. So if motivation is as long as the David Goggins video you watched on YouTube lives in your head, that's it. It takes one phone call, one text message, stubbing your toe, the dog peeing on the floor. It takes one act to remove all stimulus. Motivation is emotions. It's just energy in motion. If you have a reason, then when my body hurts or I'm tired or I just don't want to train, I think, well, why the hell am I doing this in the first place? I'm doing it because I need to be the strongest version of myself. Okay, well, get out of bed. Strongest version of myself, the man I'm building, the 10-year man, as Matthew McConaughey would say. I can't build that 10-year man laying in bed. So if I need to sleep in this morning because I stayed up too late last night, awesome. Don't do that again. There's a reason this is happening and the reason why I'm getting out of bed. So.
Okay. I'm wondering if your answer to my problem is that I don't have a strong enough vision. but I'll tell it to you and then we'll see.
Yeah.
Can do that?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Okay. So when Chris came in, I was like, I've read about you and this resilience and health and all this, like just strength in different ways in our life. And so I told you I'm working with a trainer virtually. And yesterday we had a coaching call and I had this observation. So I've been working with her for almost a year. I'm 45. And so it was just like, hey, I'm navigating a lot of changes in my body. I need to be more intentional about what I'm doing. You get to this place where like the things you did in your 30s don't just sort of work, magically like they did before. And so I stepped into this. So I'm in. Overall, it's been a great experience for both of us. I've learned a ton from her. I feel a lot more disciplined in just my workouts. I feel like I have much better understanding of my, like what my body needs. I was under eating and spent like 6 months going through a reverse diet and all the things, right?
I like your trainer already.
She's amazing. She's really scientific. And I was scared to go through all of that as a woman, to be like, you want me to eat more every week for 6 months? Slightly. So all of that's great. So I entered this season in the last couple of months where life is just insane. So we're moving, and so we're packing up our house we've been in for 10 years. I'm supporting my girls as one of them's going to need to move schools, and just like, it's just been a big, teenagers, you have teenage girls, their home is their sanctuary. And even though our new home is a better house than the house we're in, this is the house where we have all these memories. And so that's been a lot. There's just been a lot professionally that has been required. My husband is in kind of a all max season in his career. And so there's just been like no extra.
Yeah.
And so I have not been eating as well as I sort of was, right? My 4-5 months ago self, as far as like sticking the landing on my protein goals, not eating absentmindedly in the evening, just in like not starting my day with 40 grams of protein at the jump, but kind of like wait until 11 to eat. Like just the things that like these old patterns are starting to creep back into my life. And my trainer was saying, hey, you need to get back on like having your protein prepped and your food prepped. And I was like, no, I have all that. I have all of that stuff in my fridge still. I still have access to all of the same things. I'm just not doing it. I told her, I think it's because, and so you can ask me questions and help me diagnose. I think it's like there is no place right now for like a creative release or adventure or like any kind of like out of the ordinary experience. I'm just like executing like my life depends on it every minute of my life right now. And I'm kind of pissed about it. And so the way I'm like acting out is by like eating a stupid half of quesadilla at 7:30 p.m., which is not going to make me 400 pounds, but it is not in keeping with my mountaintop goal. And so I'm like, I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know what to replace it with that is more productive. But I was telling her, I'm like, even as a kid, there's like this creative rebel that lives inside of me. And when she has nowhere to go, she sabotages goal-oriented Tiffany with all kinds of bad ideas, like eating half. It's like, I know not to do that. I know that that's not aligned. It's not the half a quesadilla, but you get the point.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can see it, but I don't know what to do instead. It's just, unless it's just like, well, just stop.
Do you feel like when you follow too much of a rigid structure, you're not in control? You're being controlled?
There have been seasons like that for sure, where I felt like, oh man, I just can't handle this right now. I was telling my trainer, I was like, when I was really on top of it all, I felt like I had a business relationship with food. It was like, hey, I understand the goal of this is to fuel my body. And now, like in this season, I feel like I need to have like an entertainment relationship with food.
Yeah.
Does that make sense when I say it out loud? Yeah.
You're in control of entertainment, though. You get to choose it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like
an influence factor.
So tell me what that means.
You're probably very high in your eye, your influence on our scale.
Yes, I am very high eye.
Meaning you can do what other people tell you for a little while, but if it ain't your plan and your idea, it's not going to last very long.
That's 100% me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever built your own nutrition plan?
I would say she's very collaborative with me in it. I mean, collaborative. I don't know anything and she knows a lot. So you don't want to be so collaborative with somebody who doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
But she's good about saying, as we look forward in the next 3 weeks, 6 weeks, like, what's coming and do you want to push? Do you want to like not? Do you want to just not track right now?
What do you tell yourself when you look at your routine? Like your diet program? What's the first thing that comes to your head? Like, do you look at it and go, shit? Or, oh, I got to eat all this today. Or, oh, I'm failing because I'm not eating my protein. I didn't eat it yesterday. Or is it exciting?
I would say I have more of a like performative relationship with it where it's like, not like if I didn't eat my protein, I'm a bad person, but it's like, I think right now it's like one more thing to plan.
That's it right there.
I think that's it.
Yeah. You're overloaded.
That's it. It's one more thing to plan.
Yeah. And you probably don't like to be told what to do either.
That is true. But once I trust them and believe they really know, I will take guidance from, I'm like, she knows a lot more. And like, I feel way better in my body.
Just look at the way you framed that sentence though. If I understand them and I believe in them, I will take guidance from them.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not going to be led by them. No. I'm still in charge here. This is my house, you know?
Is that like a character flaw or is that just who I am and I just have to know it?
That's Kylie. I mean, all day long.
This is your wife?
Yeah. I can't tell her what to do. Her mom once told me to go tell her what to do because she ticked her mom off and I just laughed at her. Like you and I both know if I go in there and tell her to do that, she's going to do it just to spite us both. So you just have to reframe it. It has to be your idea. You have to have a clear vision and a clear understanding of how you're controlling the outcome. If you're just using her as a guide, tell yourself that. Those internal talk tracks are super important. So
it doesn't have to change. I just have to know it. Or I should work on.
Yeah, you have to reorganize how you're telling yourself what you're doing. So if you're saying, here's another fucking thing to follow, and here's another meal I have to eat that I don't necessarily like, I'm not entertained at all, this is boring. Well, Jesus, that's only going to last like 2 weeks before you're just off eating donuts, you know? But if you're like, isn't this fucking cool that I have the ability, the cash flow, and the possibility of hiring a trainer to help me do these things so I can perform at my maximum capacity? Awesome. I get to do these things. This is open and available to me because of my hard work. And my hard work is going to be amplified now because I get to dump into this person that's guiding me. Mm-hmm. She's your Sherpa. Mm-hmm. Sherpas aren't in the front, right? I mean, they are for an extent, but like they're carrying all the luggage. All you're doing is performing. It just sounds like a mindset, like a framework idea.
I do think it's a mindset problem. It's not an actual, and I think that's why I was kind of annoyed because she's like, well, you need to have like more protein on hand so you can take it in the car. I was like, oh no, I have all that. I have tactically administered the practice of accessibility. Yeah. I just am not doing it, which makes it a me problem.
Well, yeah. I mean, everything's a me problem, to be totally honest. It's all personal responsibility. So, because if you take anything that's going wrong, you just whittle it down and it's probably my fault, you know, like, because we're getting in our own way. You have all of the means, all the capability, all of the open opportunity. You're just not following through on it. If you're not following through on it.
Why don't we follow through on our commitments to ourselves? I mean, every woman that you talk to who's working and has a gaggle of kids is like, I intend to prioritize myself. I intend to make healthy choices. I intend to budget our money. Like we want to. Yeah.
Society's not going to tell you that the good woman goes to the gym. The good woman dies for her child.
Yeah, that's the thing. Amen for the people louder in the back. Or people in the back, yeah.
We've been told for a very long time that it's selfish to take care of yourself. And you have to ask yourself the question, is it more selfish to take care of myself now or to force my children to take care of me later? You're going to ask your kids to take care of an old head that's falling apart and pooping and peeing on themselves because you decided not to go to the gym 3 hours a week? Absolutely unacceptable. And what are you teaching your child? Personal responsibilities is paramount. Nobody's going to do this for me. We have the phrase written on the wall, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody. You're looking for a white knight, look in the mirror, you know, because that's the only one that exists. But I do think we don't follow through because we don't see the ROI in it. We're told that it doesn't exist.
I think this vision thing is really sticking out for me right now. And I think there's some work I need to do in other areas of my life. On the health one, it's actually pretty clear for me. Somebody told me once that how old you think you're going to live has a huge bearing on how long you actually live. Yeah. Because you start to plan accordingly, like what you're saying. So I've picked 102 years old. That's how old I want to be. So I tell my kids that all the time when they come downstairs and I'm working out. My 5-year-old in particular is like, Mom, can you whatever. I'm like, so I can live to be 102. I had her at 40. So I feel like if she's 62, she's going to be fine.
Hell yeah.
But that's me managing my 30 minutes against my mountaintop vision, like what you were just saying, on one aspect of my life. I think there's other aspects of my life. It's not clearly defined and articulated like that. So I don't have as passionate of a filter to do exactly what you're saying.
So one thing we got to understand about the human brain is it doesn't understand the difference between reality and what you tell it. So if I say, I'm going to walk into this room and go on this podcast and she's going to absolutely eat my lunch. She's going to be absolutely horrible to me. It's going to be an awful podcast. She's going to rip me up and down. My brain is going to try to verify that and validate it as fast as possible because our body operates as a defense mechanism only. It's trying to avoid potential pain and injury at all costs. That's why when you drop a book inside of a silent classroom, everybody jumps because your limbic system takes over. Nobody was planning on jumping and not everybody planned on looking towards the noise. Your body did that innately to protect itself. So if we start saying, I'm going to live to 102, your brain's going to go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, how do we verify that? How do we validate it? If you say today's going to be amazing, how do I validate that? And the opposite is true. So I think the vision is very important because the vision helps establish talk tracks. Well, this is why I'm doing this. Yes, it hurts to work out. Yes, I'm in pain. Yes, working out or eating correctly or whatever might cause a speed bump in my social life. But is it important? Well, yeah, because this is where I'm going, And if nobody's going to save me, meaning at no point in time in my life will anybody step in and change the variables for me, I'm in control of all of it. All comes back to me.
Chris, if somebody's listening to this, wondering if they should come work with you and your wife at Odyssey, what might be some things that they're seeing in their life or saying to themselves, either in their inner voice or outside, that would give them an indication that calling you is maybe a good next step?
When you look in the mirror and you go, I got more. This isn't it. I got more than this. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and morally. I am better than this. I just don't know how to do it. We work with everybody from professional athletes down to, I've got a couple 72-year-old ladies. Like, we work with everybody.
Not everybody, though. You told me at the beginning, we don't work with everybody.
We can work with people that want to be better.
Okay.
That's the caveat.
All right. That's the caveat.
So we have an intake form. If you answer, how willing are you to change 1 to 10? If it's anything below a 7, we don't take you. Because 6 and below is generally because somebody else is telling you. Or you feel socially obligated to be part of X and Y. I don't give a shit about your social obligation because you're assuming that with that social obligation, they will eventually at some point in time show up and change those variables for you or save you. Ain't gonna happen.
So what does it practically look like to work with you or your wife? What does it look? Is it like a monthly coaching call? Like, what does it look like?
So it depends on what you want to do.
Okay.
If we're talking about just vision coaching, we usually do weekly 30-minute calls because I need a lot of touch points. And then we do that for 2 or 3 months, depending on how fast you're progressing. And then we'll establish some solid goals. Then we'll move it to biweekly. And then most of the time, just monthly.
Okay.
And then we just keep a check on where you're going, why you're doing it. We work with a lot of salespeople to establish structure in their schedules. So time blocking, understanding what we're doing with our business development time. How can we create patterns that establish more communication, cleaner communication, more structure with our time, getting more out of our time. Basically, it just depends on what you want to do with it.
Well, I think this is super helpful. One of the things I talk about inside the life of And is that in our households, there's like kind of 3 roles that are played: the CEO, the COO, and the CFO. And the CEO is about establishing, in a business, it's about establishing culture and strategy. And that's really what this visioning exercise is doing. It's establishing who am I becoming and what am I putting into the world? And the life of And is really about training you to be a better COO in your life. How do you operate towards the ands that you want? And it's not really a framework for helping you know what you want. There's a lot of people who do that and like you. And I think this conversation has brought forward to me, and you know how like life teaches you, things show up in patterns. My husband asked me a question last night, and I am an Enneagram 3 and all of the things that come with that. And I was feeling very frustrated and like just not as successful as I wanted to. And he said, well, that all depends on how you're defining success. And I was like, that's fair. And I think this visioning exercise is about getting clear on how are you defining success, because it looks different at different seasons in life.
Yeah.
Looks different in different stages. So anyways, thank you for joining me, Chris. We'll put information in show notes, but if somebody wants to reach out to you and explore working with you guys, what's the best way for them to connect?
You can call me. So
you can like give your phone number on here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Or go to a website?
You can go to my website. So Odyssey Resilience.
Maybe that's better.
www.odysseyresilience.org.
Okay.
My phone number's on there.
Great. We won't put on the podcast, but we'll put the link in show notes too. Yeah.
Or Chris at odysseyresilience.org.
Odysseyresilience.org.
Yep.
Chris at odysseyresilience.org. Excellent. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's given me some, I think, very timely food for thought. So thanks so much.
This is great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for listening to The Life of And. This is your weekly reminder to keep making bold choices, saying clear yeses, and holding space for what matters most. As always, if you like this episode, I'd love for you to drop a review and share it with your friend. It's the fastest way that we can grow the show. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time.